Hey everybody, Mike WX0MIK here. So today let's talk about antennas and getting yourself on the air initially. You can throw a dart and hit about 20 or 30 different antenna designs. Some are just plain functional and that's it. Some are art. And what you need, what you build or what you buy is based on your situation and what it is that you need. I can't give you that. Local hams probably can help you with that, but here's what I did. So when I was first researching, it's like, okay, I want to build an antenna. I want to put it up on my roofs. I want it durable. And so I didn't want to do the first type of antenna I'm going to mention is a ground plane antenna. You can build this very easily. All you need is a bulkhead connector, I think they call it, for antenna. So you have just an SO239 connector, and then you have around it like a square where you can usually bolt things to it, and then you have a center pin sticking out that normally you solder your wires on or whatever, and then you that's how you build like into a box or something like that. That's what it's meant for. But you can also make a nice little ground plane out of it. What is a ground plane antenna? A ground plane is simply a wire sticking up and a few fingers sitting around it as the as your reflectors, essentially. So you take your you cut your center wire to length, and your length is based on what frequency you want. I tend to like to hit the center for general use. I like to figure out where my center frequency is, and then I will cut it for that particular frequency, because you always have your SWR will drop back and forth in order to just slightly, I should say, so that it works for everything. The nice thing about VHF is that 70 centimeters is also, when you cut it for VHF, normally, not always, but normally, you can also get 440 to tune in very well as well. So then you have bonus of a dual band antenna. Be careful how you cut it. There's instructions how to do it online, but cut it to that length. And then you cut out your radials, and there is a length on that. I'm sure the instructions online can tell you that as well. Very simple, very easy antenna to make. Durability, So what I chose to do, and actually modified from there, is I need to go straight. I did a Slim Jim. I made a Slim Jim, but it's also a on the name of the antenna right now, but essentially it is copper pipe, so you just need to know how to solder copper pipe, which is not difficult in this particular case. You don't care about if it leaks water, you just want to make sure that obviously you don't want water to get into it, but you just want to make sure that it's electrically sound. So you have one big tall element, and then at the bottom there's a T on it, so it hangs down a little bit. That doesn't radiate, that doesn't do anything other than that's a mounting point. And then you have this little L shape here that hangs off of it. That is your ground radial. So then it's all one thing. A Slim Jim takes that J-pole, that's what I was looking for, because it looks like a J. So it's a J-pole antenna is what I was going to build. I heard about the Slim Jim antenna. All the difference between the two is it takes the J-pole and it adds another wrap around it, so it's more of a complete type look of an antenna, and it narrows down your it actually adds a little gain, so it narrows down your beam just a little bit, so you have a little bit better gain in theory. I've heard otherwise, but I'm going to go with that. And it has worked very well for me. How you can connect to it, you take it again, one of those connectors, the connectors, and you somehow attach the outside square part to the short side. So that would be at the bottom, at the short side. And then on the other side, you run a wire across, or you run something across to the other leg. So you're actually not transmitting down at the bottom, you're transmitting kind of sort of in the about, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches up, something like that. Again, look for plans online. Those are two very good homemade antennas that are easy to do. From there are literally hundreds of different commercially made antennas out there that you can put up. It's just how much you want to spend. I haven't put this up yet, mostly because of haven't had time or taken the time. But I have a VHF antenna that is like 17 feet tall, 12 feet tall, something like that. It is very, very high. So it's very high gain, but also very narrow beam as far as how much RF I put out. It probably will not work well if I want to hear the ISS, but it probably work really well if I want to talk to someone that's 70 miles away. It's all about compromises. So it's what do you want to do? What do you want to do with it? I have been recommended, and as I've kind of worked through this more, I'm seeing the need for a what's the word I'm looking for? A quarter wave antenna. A quarter wave antenna is your basic antenna when it comes to VHF. Well, because the other quarter, so a half wave like dipole, your other part is whatever your ground is. I have found that has been the most effective for me, at least in my vehicle. Works well at home. I have a dipole as well that I made. Very similar concept. There are many different types of antennas out in the world. It's just what if you want to make one, if you want to just buy one. There is no hate either way for most people to just buy one, buy all the stuff, put it all up. Hell, you could hire someone to do it if you wanted to. But making one, taking the time to tune it and get it all working, it's a very rewarding type process, and I would highly recommend it for anyone. So take your time, figure out what it is you need, or like I usually say, just put something up and then you can see how it works from there. Two different mindsets. But I also, when you do all that work, if you're buying something especially, do a little research, because you want to make sure that whatever you buy, because you're spending real money, that it works for you long term. So 7.3.